Shot clock is off. Wembanyama goes right by Durant. Wemby with the left hand.
Victor Wembanyama is an 8-footer. I mean, sure, he's only 7'3" or 7'4", but his 8-foot wingspan breaks the dimensions of basketball like no one in the 132-year history of the sport. Take this play, where Wemby's guarding a wing, and Steph Curry runs a basic spread pick and roll, so Victor stays in the paint to help out on the roll man, has both feet in the lane on the pass, and then somehow blocks the three. As a reminder, this is what a normal-sized human looks like on the exact same play, helping on the roll, then recovering to contest the shot. But Wemby is a basketball xenomorph who surprises the best players in the world like they're school kids trying to shoot over a teacher. This was wild to watch last year in France, where professionals couldn't calibrate Victor's superhuman length. And the exact same thing is happening to NBA players right now. Jalen Williams hits him with some slick ball handling and glides in for a bunny that was erased from another dimension, because no one should have a foot outside the paint and then catch a layup. On this one, Alperen Şengün rolls right to the bucket and is casually stuffed, and he tried to drive his shoulder into the shot blocker so he couldn't jump, but Vic just reaches across his body without leaping to get the ball. Kevin Durant, of all people, needed to calibrate Wembanyama's length, using a little tempo to get into a step back to shoot, because the first time he went right to his sweet spot and Wemby tipped it coming out of his hand.
Unfortunately, no one can be told what
Wemby is.
You have to see it for yourself.
Wemby's length is more than just blocking shots. It's about horizontally shrinking the floor. He's on Williams here, who has the wild idea to try and shoot over him, but on the offensive rebound, Wemby ends up 30 feet from the hoop, and then slides just inside the three-point line before stretching like 9 feet to strip it in the lane, and I think this man might actually be a video game incarnate. Heck, he makes basic inbounds passes difficult, and the producers haven't calibrated to the adventurousness of these out-of-bounds plays yet. Wemby's teammates aren't used to his length either, because this is an easy lob at the rim for Victor, and I know that because he reaches his own layer of the atmosphere, so open space should always be a lob. Here's another one where a teammate misses an easy pass, a second teammate sees it but doesn't throw it high enough, and that's okay because he reaches over and steals it from a teammate anyway. So the Spurs players are learning to lob it higher than they think they need to on these passes because it's hard to out-throw someone who can go and do this. Jumping like that is cool and all, but what about grabbing offensive rebounds without jumping? Because again, length, and Robert Covington is 6'7" here, and Wemby reaches clean over the top of him like he's Muggsy Bogues. Wemby's reach redefines the rules around the basket, guarding the perimeter, helping in the paint, catching lobs, and tipping rebounds like this. And it even changes his dribbling, bringing him super close to the floor, although he's too ambitious on that reverse. Wembanyama himself is still calibrating to the league, learning how to use his unique body at an NBA level. And since he's only 19, there have been bumpy rookie moments, which is how most of the game played out the other night in Phoenix against Durant and the Suns. He's a little late reacting here and can't reach KD, and the first 3 quarters were mostly a struggle for Wemby and the Spurs in this one. He's late to rotate here, and Phoenix led by 20. But early in the fourth, Wemby floated into a catch-and-shoot 3, and the lead was down to 10. Then, on the next possession, no one sent Grayson Allen the memo about Wemby's wingspan, and he blocks it flat-footed under the rim. A minute later, he's involved in the pick-and-roll action, drops back to the elbow, but that's in his block radius, and it's a run-out to cut the lead to 9 for the Spurs. And he caught the shooter off guard that time by starting a left-handed vertical contest then turning and reaching with the right hand.
What did you say?
With the lead at 9, San Antonio was looking for a huge 3 in transition, but Wemby suctions in the rebound and spins his way into some overhead nonsense. And that rebound was octopus tentacles grabbing the ball, and then he just kind of dropped it in the bucket. The next time down, he's screening in some pick and roll action and pops out to the three-point line for a key shot pass, and that loveliness trims the lead to 5. Wemby actually went to the bench for a few minutes after that, and the Spurs held their own, flummoxing Phoenix a little with a zone defense. And when Victor returned with 2 minutes to play, he went right to work, spinning into this critical pass with 1 second on the clock that drew a foul. Still, the Suns seemed safe with a 5-point lead in the final minute, until an unguardable jumper shaved it to 3. Phoenix had a chance to ice the game for good, and Wemby tries to close out to the corner shooter, but couldn't get quite a clean run at him, although maybe his presence threw off Yuta Watanabe just enough to leave the door open, where a huge 3 could tie the game. Devin Vassell fires, only for Wemby to keep the Spurs alive. And then on the inbounds, they pressure Durant in the corner, and he loses it, and for the first time in the entire game, the Spurs take the lead. Whew. I imagine that Durant lost track of Keldon Johnson when he flew out of bounds for a moment, and so we never saw him sneak up from behind. And that's what happened 2 seconds earlier on the missed three-pointer, where Wemby sets a flare screen at the elbow. KD sees it, but then completely forgets about Victor, who barely needs to jump to punch it. On the final defensive play of the game, Wemby is ready to help on any shooter on his side of the court, and Durant curls off with a look that is no good, and since Wemby is about 2 steps from anywhere, his length can intimidate shooters, and maybe KD rushes it a little because of his presence. Now, this is just the beginning, and we're only scratching the surface of Wemby's potential in the league as he matures. But in just a few games, we've seen all the different ways his length could unlock additional offensive value, and how that unicorn reach disrupts so many areas for opposing teams' offenses, tipping passes, blocking unblockable shots, and generally messing with shooters' heads, as they figure out how to deal with a real-life 8-footer. Let us know what else you'd like to see covered at the beginning of this season down in the comments. You can support us directly at patreon.com/thinkingbasketball, where we have stats throughout the year, a Discord community, and more. Also, the Spurs have a 105 defensive rating with Wemby on the court and a 129 rating when he goes to the bench. So his defensive impact will be interesting to keep an eye on throughout the season. Thanks for watching this one. Hope you're enjoying the start of the year, and of course that you are having a great day.